Animal Hospital Anomaly is one of our newest, most popular progression games on the market. So many players are enjoying this game. However, there have been a bunch of bugs in the game that have limited the gameplay for users. Some of these bugs are absolutely shocking. Our first bug is to do with a patient leaving the hospital after treatment. This user said this anomaly was going to the wall for some reason. I don't know why. Let's take a look. As you can see, this patient is supposed to be leaving the hospital through the doors. However, the patient has gotten stuck in the corner of the hospital, unable to leave the hospital. But it doesn't look like the game has soft locked because of this reason, which is a good thing. As you saw, the patient actually disappeared at the end of the shift, which is a good thing. It seems like this bug is happening to other players where patients get stuck in the corner of the waiting room. Thankfully, this doesn't cause any soft lock problems and you can carry on your shifts as usual. Our next bug is to do with spotting anomalies by looking inside a patient's head. This user said, when I see an obvious anomaly, I shoot it, but it happened 2 times that when I did, the anomaly fainted and turned normal. When I tried shooting it again, it told me I was wrong. Let's take a look at what happened. So this player is following a treated patient, and as you can see, the player is walking inside the model of the patient, and the player can see that the patient has a shapeshifter mouth, a skinwalker mouth, and therefore proceeds to shoot the patient, thinking that the patient is an anomaly. However, the game says that the patient was not an anomaly and they got a hospital death. So what players are doing is looking inside the model of patients to see if they can spot the skinwalker mouth, and when they see the mouth, they assume that the patient is secretly an anomaly. But it seems like just because the mouth is present inside the model of the patient, that doesn't mean that the patient is inherently a shapeshifter. So be very careful when trying to find ways to spot anomalies, because looking inside the model of the patient and seeing the shapeshifter mouth does not mean it is a shapeshifter. Our next bug is about shapeshifters. This user said, I have no idea what happened. Let's take a look at what happened. This player is notified that a skinwalker is eating a patient. The player frees the patient from the skinwalker. However, the patient that was being attacked by the skinwalker turned into a skinwalker during the patient's recovery phase. However, when the skinwalker attacks the nurse is unable to free herself from the skinwalker's attack, and the skinwalker runs out of the hospital whilst attacking the nurse. And as you can see on the left hand side, the skinwalker is depleting the sanity of the nurse. So the big question is, why was the nurse unable to free herself from the skinwalker, and why was the skinwalker able to run away and leave the hospital whilst attacking the nurse? The same skinwalker bug happened to this user. Let's take a look. Again, the skinwalker attacks the psychologist, but the skinwalker is able to run out of the hospital whilst attacking the psychologist, and the psychologist was unable to free himself from the skinwalker's attack, resulting in the psychologist's death. So this bug is happening to multiple players and is definitely a run ender. As you can see, the psychologist died. Another bug to do with a skinwalker is this. This user said, anomaly not attacking visitor in room 8. Let's see what happened. Normally, skinwalkers are supposed to attack patients on site. However, this skinwalker is not attacking the patient, and this bug is happening to a lot of users where the skinwalker is just ignoring patients. A similar bug happened to this user. As you can see, the skinwalker is so close to a patient in the waiting room. However, the skinwalker is not attacking the patient. Hopefully the dev team can fix this bug in our next update, which is only a few days away. Our next bug is to do with stalkers. This user said, stalker won't disappear after I looked at them. They also said, I don't know what happened, it just wouldn't go away. And they provided a picture of the stalker, and as you can see, the doctor is looking straight at the stalker, and the stalker Stalker will not disappear. Normally when you look at a Stalker, the Stalker disappears, or even when you just glance at the Stalker will disappear. However, in this case, the Stalker will not leave, and it doesn't stop there because this user said he also still didn't go away. So a similar case has occurred with this user where the Stalker would not go away. They have provided a video. Let's take a look. As you can see, the Stalker is permanently there and the doctor is losing sanity every time they look at the Stalker. So this definitely makes the run way more difficult for the Stalker to be permanently there and also depletes your sanity every single time you look at the Stalker. I'm thinking this could be like a hard mode for Animal Hospital Anomaly for like entities to permanently be there, but in this case this is a bug where the Stalker will not go away after being looked at. Another problem to do with the Stalker is this user said Stalker only appearing once. The Stalker entity usually scares me around shift 2 to 4 and after that it doesn't ever appear again. So there is an ongoing discussion about the Stalker and why the Stalker only appears once every run for some players. So players are wondering why the Stalker is so rare. Is the Stalker only supposed to appear once and never again? However, this user said they appear a lot for me. I think you are all just lucky. So some players only experience the Stalker once and never again for the whole entire run, and it looks like some players experience the Stalker many times in one run over different shifts. So maybe the dev team can take a look at the Stalker spawn rate and see if there's anything going on with the code that would make the Stalker not appear as often as it should. Our next bug is to do with the bed monster. As you know, you can feed the bed monster maple syrup and the bed monster will not attack you. However, this user said he did not let me go, and yes, I had the maple syrup out. They provided a picture, and when we take a closer look, as you can see, the player does have maple syrup in their inventory. If we zoom in, you can see that the golden syrup is there. However, the bed monster has still attacked the player, and the game even says the monster takes your maple syrup and lets you go, but clearly we can see that the bed monster has attacked the player. Our next bug is to do with hiders. This user said hider getting stuck. Yeah, once I triggered it, the hider was stuck and couldn't move. Let's take a look. As you can see, the hider is running in place, and normally the hider is supposed to chase you around the room, but the hider is stuck in the wall. Many players are experiencing this bug as well, where the hiders can't move even though they're supposed to. Our next bug is to do with the assistant nurse skin having bad collisions. This user said I'm not 100% sure what it is, but I believe it's that the tail has collision. I was able to fling myself if I put my back against the shop counter and jumped. They then said it wasn't a problem for that case, but sometimes in the surgery room, doing a quick turn would cause my rig to fall over, which would waste time. So it looks like the nurse has a skin that has a tail, and the tail can collide into walls and objects, which can cause the model to fall down. Our next bug is to do with the CCTV cameras. This user said while using the security cameras, I noticed I could still move my character. After leaving the room, I could see my own name tag and the gun I was holding. I could also use the cameras to watch where I was going and grabbing random items, and then started to shoot patients before exiting the camera view. Interesting. Let's take a look at what happened. This player is holding the gun and goes to the security cameras, and as you can see, they are able to move their character whilst viewing the security cameras, and the security cameras show that the user has a gun, but you can't see the model of the player, just the item they're holding and the name tag. The user then goes back into the CCTV cameras and is able to shoot patients whilst viewing the CCTV cameras. So there's definitely a problem where players are able to move around even though they are viewing through the CCTV cameras. So I guess the dev team could make it so your player is stuck in place when viewing the security cameras. There is another bug to do with the cameras. This user said was viewing cameras while the shop opened for the first time, had the camera UI stuck on my screen after the cutscene ended, could look around and still switch cameras, was able to exit cams afterwards. Just weird that it happened. Let's take a look at what happened. So it seems like this player was viewing the cameras when the shop cutscene opened, and then their screen was stuck on the camera user interface, so they're able to walk around whilst having their view as the cameras. That is super weird. Our next bug is a soft lock bug. This user said this bug is so annoying, it keeps happening to me. It's a bug where everything is normal and everything is fine until suddenly I'm just completely unable to interact with anything except cameras. This is so annoying. It happens on shift 1 to 2 and ruins my runs and good teams I find. Please fix it. And they said, and yes, it unfortunately is common. Let's take a look. So this user is showing that they can't interact with anything, and they go to the check-in area and they can't interact with anything there, but when they go to the cameras, they can interact with the cameras. This could be a mobile issue. Try another device and see if the problem persists. Our next bug is to do with the photos and the cameras, which are supposed to show anomalies. They basically said that their friends would see features of an anomaly on the cameras or the photos, but they would not see the same anomaly features. I guess the game might be sending different photos to different players, which could cause some confusion, especially if you're trying to work as a team, but the photos and the cameras are showing different features for different players. Our next bug is to do with glitching out of the map in one of the patient rooms. So in one of the patient rooms, behind the chairs, there's a specific area where you can glitch out of the map, and players are doing this glitch and they are able to glitch out of the map. And as you can see, once out of the map, there are some assets, and this user had a friend that glitched out of the map in that same area, I assume. And as you can see, there are a few pictures of assets outside of the map that they saw, and one is of a baby doll, which is super creepy. And as you can see, it does say shift 3, but they are out of the map. Super interesting that there are some hidden assets outside of the map. Maybe they are Easter eggs for players that somehow managed to glitch out of the map, or maybe they are future updates that are supposed to be hidden from players. Our next bug is to do with patients fainting. This user said, my friend and I were playing, and when I was gonna tase an anomaly, it tased the patient I was holding instead. The patient got up while I was holding them and ran to the door, taking me with them. But due to me not being able to go through the doors, me and the patient got stuck in the corner of the wall while the phase countdown was still going. This went on until the patient died and I got unstuck. And they provided a picture of the situation. So basically, patients that faint are somehow able to wake up and run away and run out of the hospital. However, the fainted patient that is now running away also takes the player with them, and because the player can't actually leave the hospital, eventually the both of you, the patient and the worker, get stuck in this corner. This bug also happened to another player who said he was fainted and I picked him up and he started running away and he took me with him. They have a video, let's check it out. So this is a footage of the situation we previously just saw, where the player and the patient are stuck in this corner. Somehow fainted patients are able to run away, taking the player with them. And a cause of this might be because of what this user said, where they said, I was gonna tase an anomaly, it tased the patient I was holding instead. Probably because it was the nearest patient to me. So it looks like it is possible to tase fainted patients you have picked up, resulting in this bug. So be careful with the taser, it can cause this bug when you have picked up a fainted patient. Our next bug is to do with treating patients. This user said surgery bug. It was the correct treatment? Question mark. Let's take a look. This player is performing a surgery on this patient and the game asks for a transplant, and so the player gave the patient a transplant. However, it resulted in the patient's death. This was the correct treatment. However, the patient died. This bug is happening to a lot of players where the correct treatment is given to the patient. However, the patient dies. Such an annoying bug. Hopefully the dev team can figure out why the game is not registering that the correct treatment has been given. Our next bug is to do with the fire extinguisher. This user said, no matter how long I sprayed a fire extinguisher for, 4, it stays at 100% charge. And as you can see, they have provided a photo, and it is true, the fire extinguisher charge is at 100%, and they've claimed to have used the fire extinguisher for quite a while. What an interesting bug to have infinite charge on the fire extinguisher. It's possible that this is a visual bug and the fire extinguisher charge is going down. It just depends how long they have actually used the fire extinguisher for. Our next bug is a texture bug. This user said skulls don't appear and you can't tell the difference, and they have 2 photos. So this is on the heartbeat mini game where you're supposed to click on the correct icons and avoid the skulls. As you can see, for this player, the correct icons do not show, which makes it impossible to complete this mini game. This must be so frustrating. This is a texture bug, and as you can see, this player is on a mobile device, so maybe clearing the Roblox cache or freeing up some memory could solve this problem. Our next bug is to do with Barney, who asks the player for a cup of coffee. This user said Barney does not appear if you skip the dialogue with the doctor. Please correct why Barney doesn't appear when you skip the dialogue with the doctor. It's a little strange because Barney is the same NPC as Mouse, although Mouse appears but Barney doesn't. And by Mouse, I'm assuming they are talking about Ratume. This user replied saying happened with me too, was playing on iPad at the time and was solo. So it seems like when you click this button in the lobby to skip the doctor dialogue, there is a possibility that Barney does not show. Another bug to do with Barney is this. This user said Barney inside an animal. This happens after hiding him from the police. And when we take a closer look, as you can see, if you don't accept the gift from Barney, Barney's model stays there and other animals can walk inside Barney, which creates an overlap of animals. So it looks like the dev team might have to stop other animals from entering the hospital as long as Barney is still chatting with the player. Our next bug is to do with Run the Accountant. This user said run soft lock. First it showed the room sign as empty, then stopped letting me treat him. Waste of an hour. Let's take a look at what happened. As you can see, it says treat remaining patients 1, so there's 1 patient yet to be treated. However, when this user goes into room 6, Run is inside the room and the player cannot interact with anything to take DNA samples or to treat Run, which creates a soft lock in the game and the players are unable to continue their shifts. Players are then forced to restart the whole game from shift 1 to resolve the problem. This bug is happening to a lot of players where Run from accounting gets soft lock in one of the patient's rooms and there's nothing you can do about it. Our next bug is to do with multiple patients in one bed. So many players are experiencing this problem. This user said, so me and my friend did a duo run and on shift 4 we got this glitch in room 1. There was 2 patients on the bed. We were confused. We tried to tase it. Doesn't work. We had to restart our run because of that. Please fix this. And as you can see, somehow 2 patients have ended up in the same bed and this player is unable to treat either patient, which is causing a soft lock where the players will have to restart the game and start again at shift 1. This problem is happening to multiple players. A solution could be to try and shoot or tase one of the patients to try and break the soft lock, but if that doesn't work, then you will have to restart the whole game. This is a very unfortunate bug. Hopefully the dev team can figure out why 2 patients are going to the same room. Our next bug is to do with Ratume. This user said I closed the shutters and he didn't leave. A visitor fainted in the lobby and I thought that was why it didn't go on, but the treat patients counter stayed at 1 the whole time and we had to reset. And as you can see, Ratume is at the counter and Ratume would not go away. The same bug happened to this user. They said we closed the shutters for like 10 minutes and he didn't leave. I think this happens when you talk to the Anomaly to go to their room, plus the other player closed the the shutters, but not sure though. We tried to kill him, but he's immune. As you can see, Ratume is at the counter and the shutters are down, but Ratume is still at the counter. And the user said they tried to tase or shoot Ratume, but story NPCs are immune from attacks. So this does create a soft lock and you unfortunately have to restart the run. Our last bug is to do with Ratume again. This user said I couldn't see what treatment I have to give to Ratume. As you can see, the treatment window is blank. This player has no idea how to treat Ratume. The user went on to say I was busy checking in while my friend are doing surgeries, and they said that they couldn't see what treatment they need to give to Ratume on the screen, and we tried to give them random treatments but they wouldn't work. So it looks like this could be a screenshot from the friend's perspective. They tried to give random treatments but it didn't work. It would definitely take a while to guess the correct combination. What an unfortunate bug. It seems like Animal Hospital does have a lot of bugs, which is expected. This is a brand new game with lots of content, so there's going to be quite a few bugs and glitches, but I'm sure the dev team are working very hard behind the scenes to fix these problems.